realization, similar to China, its steel intensity usage is probably around 10% of the developed world. That refers to things like using tin cans to drink Coca-Cola, things like that. In the rural areas, there's very little actual steel usage.
What are we talking here? Where's the main demand? Is it the metallurgical coal or the thermal coal?
India is one of the world's largest producers of coal, both thermal and met coal, but their metallurgical coal is of a much inferior quality compared with Australia. So they have to buy high-quality Australian and other coals. So the real demand story is in the metallurgical side, but the thermal side as well.
We've always known that there's been strong demand from Asian countries, the likes of Japan and China. Does this level of demand from India come as any surprise to Australia?
If you're looking at the fundamentals, absolutely not. I think the world has been very focused on China and has forgotten about India to some extent. Now, the growth in China is uncoupled, if you like, by the fact that China is not a democracy. India's growth has been far more organic and has sort of stopped and started because of obstacles around, running a democracy. But we're seeing significant growth projections, and the supply-demand shortfall projected going out is quite substantial.
And is Australia their main shopping ground, I guess you could say?
In the metallurgical space, unquestionably. In the thermal space, we're seeing a lot more South African and Indonesian coal, which will increase as a trend.
India is also trying to ramp up their investments here in Australia in the coal industry, particularly in Queensland. What will this mean for the coal industry in general?
You will see some deposits developed that were perhaps less economic. You will potentially see an influx of workers from India to help develop these projects, and the 457 visa reforms will facilitate that. And certainly massive port projects as well will get up and running to help provide a funnel or channel for these exports to make their way to India.
Do you think this is going to be as straightforward as what they think, or do you think that the Australians will put up a fight?
I don't think it's going to be straightforward. They will obviously have to go through FRB qualification processes to make sure that they can meet all the obligations. We're seeing some problems in New South Wales for companies like Shenhua in getting agreement to mine. So it's certainly not going to be straightforward. But by the same token, you do need a big slug of investment to get these kinds of projects off the ground.
Is something like this going to boost Queensland's economy, or is it basically they're coming in, buying it, shipping it straight over there?
No, it will absolutely boost it. Purely if you look at royalties, if you look at the growth that will come from the development phase of building a project like this, the railways, the housing, etc., you will see a massive increase to the economy just during those construction phases alone.
Do you think there's going to be a fair few worried Australians about these proposals?
Yes, I do. The debate around opening up the borders to skilled labour, there are really two sides to it. And I think there will definitely be some resistance, particularly from union movements and local communities.
We've seen India overtake China as Queensland's second biggest export destination, but it's still behind Japan. Where's this going to stop? Do you think this is roughly their demand, or do you think they're going to continue and possibly even overtake Japan?
We're talking about a steel industry which is looking at a compound annual growth rate of around 6% going forward. If we look at 2010 numbers, we're looking at about 26 million tonnes of coal from Australia to India. Now that figure will continue to grow by around 5 to 6%. Japan will continue to stay pretty stable. If we look at the Japan figure for coking coal, that was around 26 million tonnes. That will stay fairly stable going forward.